Geshe Tashi has very, very kindly sent us a video, which Saeed is about to play. I just want to share one memory of those early days. We bought the building at the end of November, and we completed, I suppose, maybe we completed the same, I'm not quite sure of the timing of it, but anyway, it was cold and it was miserable. And somebody gave us a really bashed up red station wagon car. Does anybody remember? A big old estate car. Yeah. And we had the centre in Finsbury Park in the north of London, where Geshe Tashi and Venerable John Fay were living. And every morning they loaded the car up. We never used a removal van, and they drove all the way across London, no congestion charge in those days, down to Jamyang, parked the car in the courtyard, did a day's work with whatever volunteers were free, fed everybody rice and dal at lunchtime. And then in the evening, they drove back, made a whole load more food, went to bed, and repeated again the same day. It was unbelievable. And when we actually moved into the building in January, Geshe and Venerable John Fay lived in the small cells on the first floor of the cell block for a year until there was more rooms on the other side of the building available. So just to set the tone of the incredible dedication that Geshe and John offered in those early days to make the whole thing possible. Anyway, so I asked Geshe Tashi if he was willing to say something. He sent us a video. The only thing to say is that I probably did a typo when I wrote to him, so he's congratulating us on the 30th anniversary. Oh. So let's think forward 5 years and enjoy Geshe's contribution. Saida, can you play it?
So I'm very pleased that London Jamyang Buddhist Centre is going to celebrate 30th, I don't know what you call, 30 years since having managed to, purchase the Courthouse. And so there are questions, or there are points which Alison asked me to answer, but if I try to answer all the questions entire evening or entire whatever the time that you set, may need to spend just to listen my blah blah. So instead of answering all those points, what Alison kindly asked me to say a few words, I will just point a few things. Yes, of course, having a bigger place compared to the Finsbury Park place, which is just 3-bedroom semi-detached house. Compared to that, the current old courthouse is, in terms of the space, much bigger, and of course is Victorian times built courthouse. I don't know what blessing is there because it is built in Victorian time, but anyway, it's beautiful architect, and I feel it is the right size, and so therefore, no doubt, being able to secure or able to buy that current building, the many Dharma activities, are able or had done, and been doing, and will do in the future. So the most, the benefits or the benefits of having that building is, during my time there, many great teachers have visited and gave amazing teachings, particularly some of those teachings given by current Ganden Tirimbuche, Ganden Tiba. He came many times and gave many profound teachings. And then, of course, other great teachers also came. So that is really something, great service to the community, to the particularly Buddhist community and also local community. So I think so that is the benefits of being able to buy that place. Of course, there were many struggles to, first to buy the building, then to restore, then to to keep this relatively old building. It's not easy, but it has provided these great facilities to have many great teachings at the building, including His Holiness Dalai Lama. Had visited there, give a short teaching. So when I read the email and what kind of the memory or what comes into my head when I think about old Courthouse, particularly in the early time. Dave Ban, many of you may not know, particularly people who are relatively new coming to Jamyang. A really, really nice guy, Dave Ban, who passed away a few years ago. In the current Gomba, what you see, that very shiny floor, wooden floor, it wasn't like that. It is more or less, Dave Ban's persistence to, what you call the, what you call that machine to take the old, old wood and very, very, very dusty. So there might be some photos in Jamyang archive, although he got, masked, but he has long hair, and the entire hair is dust with the fine wooden, smell is because the wooden floor is pine wood, so you can smell the pine wood. So that really comes into my head when I read that, when I read the email. So from the building, which is at the current condition, is it's not just one or two people. Many people, in particular, what in English they have expression unsung hero. So many those active and who worked hours, days, weeks, months. And I think that's really something important for us to remember those unsung heroes. And people know who I am. I was there for many years. But though there are people, who had contributed to bring that building to the current condition. But, very, anyway, so that's what I thought. One thing, when we celebrate or when we, whatever you do, it is important to remember those people too. And of course, people have contributed money and other things. They are also important. So then, of course, having that kind of place in the middle of London, not only last 30 years have contributed to the Buddhist community and also to the local community. And I'm sure, the place will remain as a spiritual place. And, the local or distant people can come to seek refuge. I remember another thing very clearly while I was living in London, living in Jamyang. An elderly man in the afternoon, center wasn't really open, but the doorbell rang and I was there in the lobby. And I answered the bell and I let him come, although he wasn't a regular, class comer. But so we had a little conversation at one of those chairs, and he said, he comes to the center, from time to time when he feels he needs some kind of place where he can go and, people welcome, regardless of whether he is a regular comer or not, and to feel very secure, feel very calm, and very welcoming. And I think that is really when that man said that, and I thought that is what, the Jamyang should create to the, visitors or regular comers, regardless of whether they have any religious Buddhist interest or not. Ordinary people, when they come to the door to welcome and, give a sense of peace, calm, sense of security. And I'm sure, from the place, many Dharma activities, teachings will continue. So that is my blah, blah. And due to this coronavirus, I don't think you people are allowed to gather. So you may going to listen these my few words from your place, wherever you are. Keep safe. Look after if you live in a family, look after your family members. Look after your neighbors, particularly those elderly and vulnerable people who need our support. And if we do that, that will be the great 30th celebration. Okay, thank you.